Some of the most famous heirloom tomatoes in the world have completely failed in my garden. I made a tomato growing video that has over 14 million views because it covers basically everything you need to know to grow tomatoes successfully. You could memorize every tip in that video. You could do everything right and you can still fail if you're growing the wrong variety for your climate. That's the part nobody talks about. And today, I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to show you the tomato varieties that I'm personally done growing and how to choose tomatoes that actually work where you live. And right away, I want this video to become the most helpful tomato comment section anywhere. So as you watch, leave a comment with two things: where you live and the one heirloom tomato that always performs for you. Because what fails for me might be unbeatable for you, and what thrives for you might fail for someone else. So drop your region and best variety in the comments and let's build a real-world tomato map together. Here's what I realized. The problem wasn't that these were bad tomatoes. The problem was that they were the wrong tomatoes for where I live. Tomatoes are not universal, they're regional. And in my case, we get a late, cool spring. Tomatoes can just sit there and barely grow at first, and then suddenly midsummer hits, upper 80s into the 90s, and it's dry. We get basically no rain at all through the entire growing season. So tomatoes here have to handle cool starts, then intense dry heat, and then a long season that stretches into October. And some heirlooms that are legendary in other parts of the country just don't love that pattern. They weren't bred for it. So the first type of tomato I've stopped growing is any variety that constantly cracks in my conditions. These are tomatoes that look perfect. You're so excited to harvest them. And then after one heat swing or one watering change, the fruit splits wide open. And once a tomato cracks, bugs get in, rot gets in, and suddenly half your harvest is ruined. And in my climate, cracking usually isn't from summer rain. We don't get summer rain. Cracking happens because in dry heat, watering becomes the swing. If plants get stressed and dry and then suddenly get a big drink, those thin-skinned heirlooms split fast. Now, some of the most famous heirlooms fall into this category for me. For example, Brandywine is amazing for flavor, but it cracks easily in a lot of gardens. Cherokee Purple is another one people love, but it can split fast when moisture changes. And Black Krim is famous too, but in my conditions, it tends to crack and get kind of mealy really quickly. Now, if any of these are unstoppable where you live, again, tell us in the comments. The second category is heirlooms that are famous, but don't produce enough to justify the space in my garden. Some heirlooms taste incredible, yes, but if you only get 5 or 6 tomatoes all season, and if you only have a few tomato spots, that's a painful trade. For me, a couple of examples of this have been Mortgage Lifter, huge, beautiful slicers, but not always a heavy producer in my garden. Aunt Ruby's German Green was another one that I had, amazing flavor, but it was very inconsistent year to year. One year out of 3 plants, I think I got 2 tomatoes. And honestly, Brandywine again can fall into this category too, because it often gives fewer fruit than I want for the space. Again, these have been well-known tomatoes for a long time, but they don't always earn their spot everywhere. And I want you to think about your own garden. Have you ever had a tomato that everybody loves, but it just never worked for you? If so, comment it. That's what we're talking about. The third category is heirlooms that struggle with heat stress and fruit set in climates like mine, because our season isn't short, it's long. We go from a cool spring to a dry, hot summer, and that heat can last well into October. And some heirlooms just don't love that. They'll grow a beautiful plant, tons of leaves, and then once the real heat arrives, they stop setting fruit. Flowers drop, production slows down, or the fruit that does form gets stressed in the sun. For me, this is where some of the really large, thin-skinned heirlooms can be frustrating. Beefsteak and Brandywine make this list also and can struggle once the heat ramps up. How are those two so popular? Any tomato that sounds like a cold place will not like this type of climate. Think Siberian, glacier, or anything Russian. Paul Robeson and green zebra, which a lot of people love, can be hit or miss depending on summer stress. And again, I want to be clear, these are not bad tomatoes, they're just not always the right match for every climate. So here's the moment that changed everything for me. I stopped asking the internet and I started asking local gardeners. I asked one simple question: what tomato do you grow every year because it never fails? And the answers were completely different than Google's top 10 list. And that's when I realized something important. The best tomato is not the most famous tomato. The best tomato is the one that thrives in your local area. Because if someone down the street can grow a tomato flawlessly, that matters more than a list written by who for who knows who. It's the smartest shortcut you can take. And honestly, this is one of the reasons we started our Next Level Gardening online community. We have gardeners from all over the country, different zones, different summers, different challenges. I'm in there in the discussions, but better than that, we have certified master gardeners in there as well. So if you ever feel like you're guessing with tomatoes, having a place where you can ask what works where I am is a game changer. I'll leave a link to our community below if you want to check it out. So what do I plant instead now? My approach is simple. I still grow heirlooms, but only the ones that are proven locally. And I grow more hybrids than I used to, because hybrids are not inferior. Hybrids are often more productive, more reliable, more disease resistant. So now I look for tomatoes that can handle heat and produce with consistency. I want varieties that set fruit even when it's hot and don't fall apart the second conditions swing. My tomato lineup now looks like this, at least for 2026. Roma and San Marzano for paste or sauce tomatoes, Dixie Giant, Hillbilly, and my favorite, Kellogg's Breakfast for regular slicers. And yes, I am a yellow tomato fan. And for cherries, Sun Gold and Pink Princess. Now I always leave a little space to try a new variety or two because I'm always testing out what does best for me year over year. Because my goal is tomatoes on my plate, not constant frustration and guessing in the garden. So here's the rule I want you to remember. Stop choosing tomatoes based on hype. Before you plant anything, ask 3 different places: local gardeners on your block, master gardener groups, online communities like ours, and go to the farmer's market and ask the tomato growers there. Those people already did the experiment for you. You know what works where you live. And if you match the variety to your climate, growing tomatoes becomes dramatically easier. So yes, there are tomato varieties I'm never growing again, because when you try to fight your climate, you rarely win. Now leave a comment with where you live, your #1 heirloom tomato or more, and a popular variety that does not work for you. Let's build the most useful tomato list anywhere. And since I teased one of YouTube's most popular tomato videos, give it a watch to learn everything you need to know to take those tomatoes that you already now know grow well in your area and take them to the next level. I'll see you guys next time.